Hello and welcome to another episode of This Song Sucks, where we get together and talk about the songs that we hate. I'm Josh Kavanaugh, and with me today, as always, is Hayden Crawford. Hayden, how's it going out there in Seattle?
Mambo No.5.
Well, you gave it away.
Oh, yeah.
I'm also joined by Lindsay Palinsky today. Lindsay, how are you?
I'm great. Glad to be here.
Well,
Glad we could get a little bit of humor right at the top.
yeah, if you don't get it from that, today we're discussing Lou Bega's Mambo No.5.
The trumpet.
Yes. It's actually, I had forgotten this. The full title is Mambo No.5, and then in parentheses, a little bit of ...
Gotta have the ellipses.
Is it a little bit of or a little bit of?
It's a little bit of, which seems like an oversight on the character he's trying to create here.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think Lou is a grammar Nazi.
Funny you should mention the Nazis, because he was born in Germany. Munich, Germany, in 1975. I feel like that's something that was probably fairly well known at the time, though. I mean, he wasn't like, even though he had this mambo persona he was doing, it didn't seem like he was trying to hide the fact that he was from Europe.
Well, I'll get into this later. Never mind.
All right, well, we'll move on. So his real name, right off the top, we're getting into good stuff here. David Lou Bega Balamese.
Wait, is Lou Bega one word?
Yes, his middle name is Lubega, Lubega. So he just took his middle name and split it into two names to make his stage name.
I appreciate the resourcefulness.
I mean,
I like him so much more now.
I mean, it's efficient, just like the Germans. Mm-hmm. So his mother was Sicilian and his father was from Uganda. I'm assuming Lubega is Italian, sounds Italian. Balamese is probably the Ugandan part.
Lou Bega.
I think the opposite.
You think it's the opposite?
Maybe.
So it's Balamese.
Yeah.
Josh Bacon.
And then Lou Bega. Like Lou Bega sounds like you. It's got a lot of U sounds in it.
Well, it sounds like we're already calling my research into question, so good start for me.
Yeah.
It's a Lou Bega with a pepperoni.
Gosh. Speaking of good starts, Lou Bega apparently got his career started as a rapper at the age of 13. Apparently he had a hip-hop group with some friends, and they released a CD in 1990. I could find no evidence of this other than the blurb on Wikipedia. However, I did find one piece of pre-Mambo No.5. It's him rapping on a track called Let's Come Together, Holiday Shout by a group titled Balaboo. This came out in 1997.
Ooh, Balaboo. Hang on.
Oh, Hayden.
You can't just say something like Balaboo and skim over it.
Okay, so it's Balibu. Let me share this picture I found. You can easily find this if you're listening. Just Google search Let's Come Together or Balaboo.
He has a walking stick on the beach.
Yeah, it's him in front of a very clearly photoshopped beach scene. He's kneeling on the ground with a cane, and he's with three doofy-looking dudes.
Yeah, what are these cardstock white people doing back here?
The back row is two sets of twins.
Yeah, it's two ladies and two guys. The two guys in the middle, they kind of have they got like the seashell,
the puka shell necklace.
Yeah, puka shell necklace thing going on. One of them's got a Steve Irwin vest happening.
It's a real shame Adam's not here for this. I think he would really vibe with those necklaces.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. I mean, this group apparently the only thing they did was create this one song.
They came together.
They came together to make a holiday shout. And if you listen to it, it's kind of got like a reggae electronica. It reminded me of like Ace of Base kind of sound.
Well, that's very German.
If you think of I Saw the Sign, it kind of has that similar feel to it.
Ugh, man.
And Lou raps on like 2 or 3 verses.
Oh, there are 4 tracks on that tape.
Does he now?
Yeah, there's 4 tracks on it.
And 2 of them are like 6 minutes long.
But I think they're all just remixes of the same song.
Oh.
Oh, so he has a history of doing that.
Oh, yeah. Extended version, club remix.
Yeah, I only found the one version, and the one version is like 6 minutes long, and it's worth listening to just to hear early Lou Bega. I mean, his gravelly, sort of milder Ja Rule voice is there.
Murder.
Yeah, murder.
Yeah, that album cover's about as hip hop as a bowl of mashed potatoes.
Yeah, the little boy in the front row is the most German-looking Rasta kid I've ever seen. With those smooth cheeks.
The white German with dreadlocks.
Yeah.
Gosh. So
Lou Bega's wearing knockoff Tims in that photo.
I think they're all wearing knockoff Tims.
That girl's wearing sandals.
It's not beach appropriate wear. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I hate that.
So anyway, after Malibu quickly went nowhere, the story is that Lou Bega took a trip to Miami as a teenager. I'm guessing sometime around this time, 97, 98.
I knew Miami was going to come into this.
Yeah.
Bienvenido a Miami.
And apparently this trip sort of turned him on to, quote, the songs of the Mambo kings of the 30s and 40s. A quote I found said that, fascinated by Mambo sounds and stylish fashions, Bega returned to Germany and created his own version of the music. I kind of like imagine in the biopic of Lou Bega, he's just walking down the streets of Miami and just hears like a salsa
trumpet?
Yeah, salsa band.
I was waiting for that.
He just, the trumpet.
Put that on the silver platter.
And it just speaks to him.
He heard a trumpet and saw a fedora, and that was it. This is Lou Bega's backstory.
And then he learned how to say the word 5 properly as a result of the clothing. Mambo No.5.
So it tends to be the case with pop stars often. Quote, creating his own version of the music usually means other people do all the work. So
sounds great.
Looking online, I found credits for his producers Achim Kleist and Wolfgang von Webenau, aka Donald Fact. They appear as co-writers for most of his songs, but for Mambo No.5, it was a guy named Christian Koenigseder. I really couldn't find too much on him, but he appears to have written songs for several European sort of electric pop and hip hop groups. And his name doesn't even appear on the list of credits that's on the album for Wikipedia, which makes me think that maybe he's in hiding.
Well, that name is really hard to say. So Koenigig can be pronounced like 3 different ways.
Koenigseder.
So Koenig, if you live in Austin, it's Koenig Road. But apparently, I was corrected once by an uppity person when I first moved here that said it's actually Koenig.
Oh.
Koenigseder.
So does he have like an empire of coffee makers?
That's Keurig, spelled completely differently.
It's all the same.
But I would probably be in hiding if that was my name. I just wouldn't want to write it on a piece of paper. Change that name.
I had a really weird mental image of Lou Bega eating a strudel.
With his little pencil thin John Waters mustache. Yeah.
He's like eating it very delicately with his fedora tipped on his head, at a cafe table.
With a fork and knife, because he's European.
Exactly.
Do you think he just keeps a spare strudel
under the
hat at all times, just ready to go?
We can only hope.
So the other song credit for Mambo No.5 is Perez Prado, and we'll talk a little bit more on him later. The single Mambo No.5 was released in Europe in the summer of '99. It was kind of the summer jam in Europe. In fact, the song charted as the #1 song that year, and basically
charted or sharded.
Depends on. I don't know what they do in Switzerland, but he was #1 there. France, Germany, basically every richer country that has some sort of charting, he was #1 for 1999. However, he debuted.
What do you mean by a richer country?
Well, just like a country that has
music charts.
Has music charts, yeah. That's not the PC way to say it anymore. The developed world, is that the correct way to say it?
Just say Amazon.
Western Europe.
Well, he was apparently big in Japan too. Australia.
I'm big in Japan.
Australia is still the Queen's domain, so
that's very true. But he
Crikey. Crikey, un strudel.
So
getting way off the rails here. I'm sorry.
Well, let's get back on track. He debuted the song at position 63 on the Billboard Hot 100 August 28th of 1999. So it was a little bit after our sort of summer jams season. The song peaked at number 3 on November 12th of that year, and it was on the chart for a total of 22 weeks. Its year-end ranking was 42 on the Hot 100 singles. So just to get some context of what else was going on, I mean, there's some pretty big firepower here. The number 1 song of the year was Cher's Believe.
Way worse song.
It was. It's a huge song, though. You can't.
Yeah,
can't deny.
I have clear memories of skating really hard in the dark to that song.
Yeah,
at a skating rink.
And number 2 was TLC's No Scrubs.
Should have been number 1.
Yeah, I mean
that's a fucking banger.
I love that song, but it surprised me.
Minor sevens in a pop song. You don't see that much.
Oh yeah,
I used to know the rap.
The whole thing? Could you recite it right now from memory?
No, I used to. Operative modifier.
Okay. Well, you gotta get your game
Eventually,
going.
you are
here.
going to allow me the pleasure of doing the entire Walking on the Sun a cappella for this podcast, but today is not the day.
This is special.
Well, some other songs in the top 20 at the end of the year. Ricky Martin's "Livin' La Vida Loca," "I Want It That Way," Backstreet Boys' "All Star" by Smash Mouth.
Another banger.
Another banger.
Smash Mouth. Now we're talking.
Every Morning by Sugar Ray. And of course, this is only 19, but Smooth by Santana featuring Rob Thomas.
Still top 20.
Oh boy. Now, man, that is the ultimate one-hit wonder.
Yeah, I mean, so for Bega to hit 42 that year, that's pretty impressive in my mind. I mean, would you consider Smooth a one-hit wonder?
No, that whole album was great.
I mean, both Santana and Rob Thomas separately have had other hits.
Yeah, but together as that unit, that was, a towering release.
Towering release. It's not the language I would use to describe it.
But on that album,
but okay.
Santana had other people, so technically every collab he did on that album with another person was a one-hit wonder by that metric.
Can you name any other ones? I don't remember any.
I don't remember right now.
Exactly my point.
See, exactly. I have to imagine that there's like a Steely Dan, maybe.
I feel like J-Lo, maybe?
I'm simply saying that is a much more expertly constructed piece of music than Mambo No.5.
Yes, I mean, it's like a well-arranged song.
Well, Santana is a musician. I don't think David Lou Bega is.
Oh, he just wheedly weeds. He didn't know what the fuck he's doing.
I would argue against that. I mean, especially with later Santana, like that album is probably not a good representation of his contribution to
it got a bunch of
overall.
8th grade girls interested in that kind of music, though. Like, I listened to that whole album and I was like, oh, let me check out this Santana fellow. We're getting really far away
and then
from
you go
Mambo
listen to
No.5.
Oye Como Va and just like immediately like, never mind.
I love Oye Como Va. Thank you very much. Also another dance-tastic song.
Yeah, but like how many girls that you went to high school with were super into early deep cut Santana?
I mean, I wasn't
All
super
right,
into
all
it
right.
either.
Let's get a little bit of Mambo back in here.
Just a little bit of.
A little bit of Rita is what I need.
So
I'm more of a Tina guy.
more of a Tina guy. We'll learn soon who his favorite was because I did in fact find that information. But the album called A Little Bit of Mambo, released in same year, 99, certified triple platinum.
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
Yes, in the U.S. And there's a whole bunch of other ratings for other countries, but I don't remember and don't care because they don't matter.
He can afford so many strudels.
He can put 2 strudels in his hat.
He can have a strudel for every fedora and one for every day of the week.
Maybe he has a heating mechanism in his fedora to keep the strudel warm.
And he could borrow
His
that.
head.
He could borrow that vest from his Malibu friend and fit multiple strudels in the pockets.
He was also wearing a vest in the Malibu picture.
So there was a couple of singles after Mambo No.5 from the album.
There?
Apparently, Tricky Tricky was the next single. It peaked at 74 on the U.S. Hot 100 and was there for only 3 weeks. The next single was I Got a Girl, which didn't chart at all in the U.S. It sounds extremely similar to Mambo No.5.
Bow, chicka, bow, chicka, bow, chicka, bow. You mean it sounds like that?
The exact same rhythmic scheme.
He starts counting at 6.
Yeah, he does start counting. He goes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, wow.
So he's just picking up right where he left off with Mambo No.5. The lyrics follow the similar theme, my favorite of which is, this is the chorus. I got a girl in Paris, I got a girl in Rome, I even got a girl in the Vatican Dome. I got a girl right here, I got a girl right there, and I've got a girlfriend everywhere.
Getting domed in the Vatican Dome.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds pretty desperate, like he really wants everyone to know that
It's the
he's
same
been
as
with a lot of
hoes in
women.
different area codes.
Yeah, but I believe those.
Fair.
I don't know that I believe Lou.
Well, Okay.
But he says I've got a girlfriend everywhere, which to me sounds like he's really yearning for deep meaning in a relationship, but just probably can't find it.
He's respecting those ladies.
It's not all mambos and strudels.
It's not all mambos and strudels. Jesus. So I found a video of him performing this song on some British TV show. He's very clearly lip syncing, but commits the even worse sin of clapping on beats 1 and 3.
Oh no.
It's pretty atrocious.
Performing Mambo No.5 or I Got a Girl?
I Got a Girl. Because I guess it probably charted a little bit better in other places outside of the U.S., even though it didn't chart at all. There's also, there's videos for these songs too, but they're basically the same as the video for Mambo No.5. There's just...
I don't get the feeling that Lou is some bastion of musical knowledge.
Yeah.
I don't think he's behind the control board. I don't think so, guys. That mambo needs more strudel.
You don't have to be a musical genius to clap on 2 and 4. It's just a fundamental problem with your sense of rhythm.
There are so many people in this world that can't clap on the 2 and the 4. Like most white people.
I don't know with the chat delay, but you said it simultaneously, which made it even better.
Oh, did we?
Yes.
I didn't even hear her. I think we must have perfectly covered one another.
There's also another song from this album called 1 + 1 = 2, and it is actually, in fact, the same song as Mambo No.5. The chorus melody is identical.
I did listen to that song because some of the reviews that I found they definitely call him out a lot on doing that.
Yeah, so these 3 songs on here just form this trifecta of garbage that we're going to keep talking about.
It's very Shakespearean, though. Go with what you know. 5-act play structure. We know what we're doing. It's straightforward. The people know what to expect.
We're mamboing. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense because there's a lot of Shakespeare plays that have random skits in it, just like his album.
Yeah.
Yeah, his decision to incorporate the hip-hop skit routine is confusing. But he's a very confused character.
Well, there's really only 2 in the first album. I think he has maybe 1 or 2 in later albums. But it's funny because they always seem to set up and explain the lyrics of the next song in a really cheesy way.
He's taking the people on a journey. He's a storyteller.
With his pencil mustache.
You know who else is a storyteller with a pencil mustache? John Waters, and he's a badass.
You know what? Lou Bega strikes me yet again as another guy who probably loves classic cars, just like Johnny Rocket or whatever his name was.
Jimmy Ray? Who wants to know?
We gotta get away. We gotta get away from these classic car guys. They really piss me off.
Something about him, man. So, following the success of Mambo No.5, he records a video and cover of "I Want to Be Just Like You" from The Jungle Book, and it's for a Disney computer game for The Jungle Book.
Hang on, what?
Yes. I have a vague recollection of hearing him sing that song. You're familiar with that song, Hayden, I assume?
No.
I want to be just like you, ba-do-do-do-do-do-do, something like that.
No, I don't know that
Jungle
song.
Book didn't have a princess, so I didn't watch it growing up.
Okay, well, listeners who know The Jungle Book know this song. It's, like the most popular song from that movie, probably.
I only watch Tool videos in that era.
That's not the most popular song from Jungle Book. Baloo sings a song that's not that song.
Lou Bega?
He fits right in the character. But there's a video of him, which I don't know if it's a promotional video or part of the computer game itself, but the children just look very confused. They're being told that, we're going to shoot some video for this Disney game, and then Lou Bega pops out with his zoot suit and
they
fedora.
were expecting to meet Mickey, and they met Lou Bega
They're
instead.
severely disappointed.
They just met Lou Bega screaming about a trumpet.
They met a fake Cuban, German, African man.
Yeah, he had strudel crumbs all on his pencil mustache.
It's very disconcerting for the children. He just jumps out. Ah!
Trumpet!
So, the second album, entitled Ladies and Gentlemen, was released in 2001. It did not chart in the U.S. at all. I'm not even sure if it was actually released in the U.S. because it had, middling chart positions in a few other countries. I would say overall it's a better produced album. The arrangements are a little more thought out, and however, it's basically the same formula. It's like some kind of dance beat with vaguely, quote-unquote, Afro-Cuban sounding big band horns. in the background. So it's just more of the same. However, the first song is a medley of Just a Gigolo and I Ain't Got Nobody.
You didn't play this one for me this week.
I did not.
I Ain't Got Nobody. I Ain't Got Nobody. It's a different. That's a whole different thing there.
Well, there's also a song called Lonely. So it's like the first album is just him talking about all these women he's sleeping with, and then the next album's like, guys, I'm kidding. I'm actually very alone. This is a cry for help.
He needs somebody to sit in that cafe with him and help him cut the strudel.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to keep it warm alone.
He will give an entire whole strudel to someone who will keep him company. He will,
What flavor, though, I wonder?
Oh.
What is Lou's strudel filling of choice?
Raspberry?
Raspberry?
Apple.
Apple. No, he's not. No, apple's too boring for Lou. He's a man of exotic taste in women.
Cherry?
Now we're talking.
Yeah. Yeah, I think cherry's it.
I found an interesting quote about this album in an article that was written a couple years ago. But apparently when asked, what he thought was the reason for the lack of success of his later albums, and you're not going to believe this, a quote from him. In 2001, when I was supposed to bring out the second album and 9/11 happened, nobody wanted fun songs anymore. So he's blaming his fall from stardom on 9/11.
Oh, Lou. Not a good look, Lou.
9/11 was a global disaster. Like, it affected the entire world, including Lou Bega. He is a member of the world community.
I mean, Lou Bega was probably not in terms of severity, but was also, I would consider, a global disaster. But that's just my opinion.
A global disaster in the sack.
Heyo.
So his third album, called Lunatic, spelled like Lou, his name.
Oh, nice.
Was released.
I love a good dad joke. Oh, it's so good.
It was released in 2005, failed to chart anywhere. His fourth album, Free Again, was released in 2010. It popped back up on the charts in Switzerland at 78.
Those goddamn Swiss.
Yeah, they love him.
Mm-hmm.
His fifth album was released in 2013, which was actually a cover album, mostly of 80s hits, such as Come On Eileen and Karma Chameleon.
What, really? He did a cover album?
Yeah, and it's just 80s versions of the Lou Bega quote-unquote mambo stylings.
Oh.
The biggest single from it topped the German charts at number 5, actually. And unironically, the title is Give It Up.
Oh, that's sad.
That's concerning.
I'm sure it's something sexual, but it's just like, yes, Lou, take your own advice. The production value of the album really took a nosedive. I mean, it seems to me like all the horns are synths. So
they weren't before?
Well, no. I mean, he had either samples or like that. The second album had like some pretty good big band arrangements and horn stuff, a lot more thought out. But at this point, I don't think he can afford it anymore, which makes sense because his official website I only found through the Internet Archive. Like, it doesn't exist anymore, and it stopped updating around 2014. So I think around this time, Lou spent all his money on strudels, I guess.
Maybe his strudel flavor should be cheese because he's big in Switzerland.
Oh, hey now. Hey now.
I guess that makes sense.
He's also full of holes.
Oh, he's so lonely.
Lindsay, you're feeling a little too sorry for a guy who's probably made millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I'm on the human journey with him.
Triple platinum.
This man is a character, and he is taking me on a ride of character development, ups and downs.
Well, his last up was just last year in 2019. He released a single, Scatman and Hatman, which is just a remix of the Scatman
There is
song.
almost no difference.
Yeah,
he just copied the song.
He samples it in the very beginning. You hear the guy go, "'Cause I'm a Scatman," and then Lou Bega goes, "Yeah, and I'm the Hat Man." So I mean, there's a lot of identity wrapped up in his hat, apparently.
I'm assuming it didn't do too well, considering I just found his booking agent's telephone number listed on his website.
Oh, man.
He must not be in that high demand.
As far as
give her a ring. I might give her a ring when this is over and find out what his favorite strudel flavor is once and for all.
See how much an hour of Lou Bega costs?
do it. As far as his identity being really wrapped up in his hat, I feel like that is most people in this century who wear terrible fedoras. Like, that is their personality, is they are a fedora
Oh, you
wearer.
mean people who live in Nashville?
I mean most anyone who wears a fedora. Also, like ladies who wear those hats that aren't fedoras, but they call them fedoras, that's most of their personality too. I'm coming for hat wearers on this podcast.
Still sounds like Nashville to me.
There's plenty of them in Austin too.
Well, he does have a video I found. I forget which song it was, but he's riding around in, I think, what's an Impala, what looks to be Miami. And he very knowingly, like, takes off his hat and rubs his hair. And it's like he's not bald. He's got like a blonde dye situation up top. And he just kind of gives like a wink and a nod. Like, it seemed to me like he was saying, like
a Lincoln Park kind of dye?
It was just sort of a wink and like a nod, like, yeah, guys, I got hair. I've been hiding these beautiful locks under this fedora
for
the whole
20
time.
years.
I cannot find a picture of him without this hat on. I am searching.
Good luck. I mean, Hayden, as he said in his last single, he's the Hat Man.
Oh, the Hat Man, yeah.
Yeah. It's like finding a picture of Vin Diesel not in a car.
It exists in the wild, but it's rarely photographed.
Or not in cargo pants.
Yeah, I cannot find a no hat picture.
I mean, he still to this day is very carefully constructing his image, clearly. So before we talk about what we don't like about the song, I found like a couple of little tidbits of information, specifically about Mambo No.5. So I mentioned earlier, I discovered which of the women he lists off was his favorite. And so apparently this was an interview with Fox News.
Don't tell me it was Rita.
Hold on to your britches, buddy, because we're getting there. But Lou Bega said that the idea of the song was simple. I dated a lot of pretty nice ladies when I was younger. These names of my past, just came to me and I wrote it down. Got the melody and the rest is history.
Ah.
When asked if he had a favorite, Bega replied, "My favorite is Sandra. That's why she was the one in the sun."
Letting Sandra get all of her vitamin D.
Oh, he is a sweetheart, isn't he?
Sandra might have been the one that got away from him. But, I mean, maybe creating a smash global hit where he lists all the other women he slept with wasn't the best way to get her back.
That ought to get her back.
Another little interesting fact here. Mambo No.5 was ranked number 6 in a 2007 poll conducted by Rolling Stone to identify the 20 most annoying songs.
Interesting. I have some information in this vein as well.
Those are all bar mitzvah songs on that list.
Yeah, he's just behind Nickelback's Photograph at number 5. Black Eyed Peas' My Humps tops off the list there. Los Del Rio, Macarena is number 2. Baja Men's Who Let the Dogs Out. I mean, he's in really good company here.
Man.
And Cher's Believe is number 10.
Because it's not a good song. Can I do a monologue about that song?
That's a banger.
I think the reason that Cher's Believe gets so much shit is because it was, kind of famously known as the first pop hit with auto-tune in it.
And way too much auto-tune.
Actually, it was very subtle compared to what we know auto-tune as today. So I think, I'm not like banging out Cher's Believe in my car, but I don't find it nearly as annoying as Barbie Girl, which is number 11 on that list.
It has some cool guitar playing in it,
man.
too. I'm remembering a guitar riff after the chorus.
How dare Rolling Stone put Crash Test Dummies on that list at all? That is one of my favorite songs in the world.
Yeah.
It tells a story. Again, I'm a sucker for a story song.
So here might be one of my favorite random facts is that the song was initially selected as the theme song of the 2000 Democratic National Convention, but was pulled because the people associating the song with the Clinton Lewinsky scandal. That started off in like 99. The song had already reached and passed its peak popularity, which, is pretty common, I guess, for politicians to choose old staler songs. But
shocker.
I want to know how far they got up to it and was like, oh crap, he's talking about a girl named Monica. Maybe this isn't a good idea.
What is Monica's fate in the song? What is she? I can't remember. Have the lyrics pulled up?
I don't have the lyrics pulled up.
You have a keyboard in front of you.
And why don't you take a
I think it's just a little bit of Monica in my life.
I'm going to look it up on my phone.
Yeah, it wasn't a little bit of Monica,
blowing Bill.
Monica.
It'd be really funny if it was, though.
Yeah, it is. Hayden, you're right. A little bit of Monica in my life.
That doesn't bode well for Monica. He didn't sound too impressed.
Yeah, maybe
she's just there.
Maybe Monica was to him as Monica was to old Slick Willie, just a side piece, So this is the.
That would be Jessica. Here I am, just walking with your pants down. A little bit Jessica. Here I am.
Jessica with your pants down.
The next little tidbit is probably my favorite, and I didn't know this before looking into it, but apparently this song is actually a cover. The original Mambo No.5 is a song by...
Wait, what?
Yes, is a song by Perez Prado. I mentioned him earlier.
Oh, he sounds way more mambo-y than Lou Bega.
Yeah, he was known as the king of mambo. He popularized the big band mambo style in the 40s and 50s. The original version was recorded in 49. You know, I mentioned him earlier as one of the songwriters on Mambo No.5, and that's because there was a huge lawsuit over this that spanned 7 years. So there's two versions of the original Mambo No.5 that I found, and it seems that Bega and his team of crack German scientists drew from the later 1970 version, like the and any horn samples they were using appear to be drawn from that version. I mean, it's the same beat, the same tempo, the same key.
Is Lou Bega a genius?
Well, just hold your horses on that assessment. So Bega basically, the producers of Mambo No.5 basically just took the horn riffs, a couple of them, because there's a bunch of different horn riffs in the original Mambo No.5, but probably the most memorable one is the one after the chorus, the ba ba da ba ba da da da.
Ba-dow, wow.
Yeah, and but during
Mambo
the
No.5.
during the verse and the chorus, other riffs from the song, the horns you hear in Lou Bega's version, are also taken directly from the Prado recording. And apparently, Bega's producers actually went to court to try to gain access to all the song's earnings. After 7 years in the courts, it ruled against Bega's producers in light of the fact that they had sought a royalty agreement with Prado's estate prior to releasing the song. But they also said that because of Bega's significant contributions to the version, the court's ruling declared Prado as a co-writer of the new version. So the song itself is split between Bega, Prado, and then this Christian guy with the weird name to pronounce.
That guy, not Standard Dan or whatever.
Not Donald Fax. I do like Standard Dan.
Standard
I
Dan.
feel like if
That's
my
good.
name was Wolfgang von anything, I would not change my name. That guy who changed his name to
Donald Fact. I
Donald
think that's
Fact.
an upgrade from Wolfgang von Widenau.
No, I do not.
Donald Fact.
So another thing I found out was that you remember the whole story about him going to Miami and learning about mambo, just walking around the streets? Well, it turns out that entire story was complete horseshit.
Oh no.
So, you know, Bega claims to have heard the original version on a trip to Miami, but his former manager, Gore Beisenkamp, said he found the Prado recording in an old box of CDs while he was looking for Latin tracks for music for a German rom-com he was working on, a movie. And Beisenkamp later went on to say that they exaggerated Bega's Florida trip into a source of mambo inspiration.
Oh, that's the only thing that saturated your Florida trip, huh?
Yeah.
Every time I go to Florida, I come back newly inspired in and by mambo. That's the only reason Florida hasn't fallen off the continent yet, is for mambo inspiration.
I come back inspired to legalize euthanization of humans.
Oh yeah, that too.
So, for his part, Bega defends himself and says that he said that he fell in love with, quote, Latin jams when he was in Florida. But, you know, from everything I found online...
Can you say Latin jams in this day and age?
I don't know. But from everything I found, it seems like the most popular music at the time was, like everywhere else, hip-hop. So, like, I find it highly unlikely that he was actually walking down the streets and heard...
You have never sounded more like a grouchy old man than you did right then. Sure enough, it's the hip-hop.
His glasses are also askew on his face right now.
I don't have a problem with hip-hop.
Rubbing his forehead.
I'm just saying that the likelihood of a young Lou Bega hearing Perez Prado's music trickling out of the clubs in Miami in 1997 is probably incredibly low.
All I heard was Perez Prado when I was in Miami Beach several years ago. Mojitos and Perez Prado, and that's it.
Your fondest memories of Miami, mojitos and Prado.
Yeah. And I don't even like mojitos that much, so just Perez Prado.
You know, I always said Miami was a city that I would refuse to visit in my lifetime, but after this podcast, I don't know.
It's not great.
Wait, so you're more inspired to visit Miami now that You
I gotta walk across that famous Miami Bridge like Jimmy.
It's the only way to get Mambo inspiration.
be careful because you might come back with a fedora glued to your head.
Or a giant belt buckle. Like Jimmy Ray has the belt buckle.
Or a pencil mustache.
All of the above.
This seems like a good time to talk about some critical analysis of Lou Bega.
Yeah. Do you want to kick us off?
Okay, well, there's not a lot. Shocker number one is there's not many musical analysts of the time felt the need to talk about a little bit of Mambo. But the ones that did are shockingly just kind of non-committal on stuff. Like a 3 out of 5 at AllMusic, that kind of stuff, being like, yeah, it sucks, but it's fine.
This is the album itself, not just the...
Yeah, I'm looking up at album review stuff. One of the more interesting things that I did find, they usually kind of relate back to what people have to say about it. And I really hate Adam's not here for this, but just doing a keyword search for Lou Bega, I found buried in the comments of a Metacritic review for Dave Matthews Band Busted Stuff.
What?
John Prelog has to say, it reminds me of the first time I heard Lou Bega, 1 out of 10.
So he used Lou Bega as a reference to trash Dave Matthews Band.
Yeah, to trash Dave Matthews Band Busted Stuff. I don't know who this guy is, but I love you.
You could equally probably switch that.
Oh, easily.
Your Mambo No.5 is like, this reminds me of the first time
I heard Busted Stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Dave. The general consistency just seems to be, concern over the lyrics, but his good nature kind of being undeniable. His smiling and
So,
all the strudel, the trail of strudel.
So you're saying that they forgave his sort of misogynist lyrics and mediocre music based on his personal affect?
Some folks did, some folks didn't. The people who gave decent reviews just got over the lyrics, I guess. One of the more interesting things I found is the Los Angeles Times did a stocking stuffer list December 2nd, 1999, called Listen Up, Elves.
Okay.
With short one-sentence reviews of different albums that were hot at the time. I guess for like someone to reference where they bought a CD to stick in their great-grandson's stocking.
Oh, little Johnny will love this.
Latin jams.
Little Johnny will love Lou.
He's got a hat.
So Lou scored second to lowest of all the... There's about 20, 30 albums here scored 1 to 4 in the star system.
Mm-hmm.
Lou scored second to last with 1.5 stars, only above Garth Brooks' The Life of Chris Gaines. So that's
not necessarily a ringing endorsement.
Before I tell you what they said about Lou, let me name a couple people who scored higher than Lou. We got Creed with Human Clay at a solid 2. Foo Fighters, Guns N' Roses. I mean, it's not looking good for Lou here.
What was the top of that chart?
There's no particular... I mean, Beck Midnight Vultures came out that year, so that's a great record. Fiona Apple put out one that year. There's some good records on there, but Lou bringing up the tail with 1.5 stars, and I quote, Bega either pictures himself as a tame Luther Campbell or a fun-loving Ricky Martin, but he's just not interesting enough to make you spend the time to figure out which.
The thing that I hear out of that is Ricky Martin's not fun-loving?
Yeah, Ricky Martin's very fun. He's a fun guy.
Well, that's what they're saying. Either Luther Campbell or a fun-loving Ricky Martin. Which is he?
Oh, like not saying that Ricky Martin isn't fun-loving, but that okay.
No, who would say that?
I wasn't sure what this guy was saying.
I mean, but I definitely agree that Lou Bega himself is about as interesting as a manila envelope scotch taped to a beige wall.
Yeah. So speaking of that, I love doing this. Kind of checking to see what the constant or the most popular Google searches are in reference to someone. So if you had to guess, what's the most Googled question about Lou Bega?
Like where he is now?
No.
Is Mambo No.5 good?
You were really close. That is one of the points I want to talk about. But the most common asked question is, what ethnicity is Lou Bega?
I mean, I guess that makes sense given people's predilection for just having to know that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that really speaks a lot to all the white old people Googling Lou Bega. They got to know what color he is.
Oh, my name is Lou, but why is he brown? Well, our names don't match our skin tones.
One of the other commonly searched questions, and this kind of ties back into where we were going earlier, is Mambo No.5 the worst song ever?
This is an article you found?
Yeah, it was just a very commonly searched question is Mambo No.5 the worst song ever? And it links to a Vice article, the 13 worst songs from the 1990s that he has the grace of being on. I think you mentioned several other lists that this song made it to, being considered the worst song of the year. But the quote here is pretty great, and I think it'll lead to a point you want to talk about. But it's been distinguished by many a list as one of the most annoying singles of all time, and has the very rare distinction of being so bad, it's arguably the only song covered by Kids Bop with no observable drop in quality.
Yeah.
Oh, I
remember
that.
This makes sense.
Yikes.
Because I listened to his entire discography, and
Why did you do that?
I just really needed to get inside this guy's head. Even the first album all the way through the rest of the albums, the songs have, like, the arrangements and production quality have a very Kids Bop sort of affect to them. It's like kind of happy-go-lucky, which, I mean, maybe that fits into the personality that people spoke about as a fun-loving kind of guy.
Well, he did a re-record of the song for the Disney Channel featuring Disney character names.
There was a Bob the Builder version of it.
There's a Disney one too. Because remember, Jonah made us play it when we were out by the fire a couple weeks ago.
Right, that might have been part of
the Bob the Builder version.
That might have been part of the video game.
Yeah. So Bob the Builder recorded his own version. Lou Bega recorded the Disney Channel version.
Okay.
And Bob the Builder, I learned in reading this, is British.
Okay.
Lou Bega.
So just sharing that with you.
Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, Hayden, do you have any other specific criticisms of Mambo No.5?
The last thing I want to bring up to close this is maybe my favorite find, other than the Dave Matthews find. And this one's right here in front of my face. The most popular, the two most popular comments on the official YouTube video of this song are pretty excellent. The first one being, "This has Florida written all over it."
Wait, does that mean that there's a guy on PCP feeding his alligator outside of a gas station?
I mean, well, I think this is a different Florida.
Okay.
South Florida is very different.
Yeah, that is not Gator, Florida. That is Mambo Country.
Mambo Country sounds like a spinoff of Swamp People starring Lou Bega.
The other comment that is at the top of the YouTube comment section is, "The dislikes are from those who assumed this was Mambo's 1 through 4.
Yeah, I mean, so from my understanding, there is no Mambo 1 through 4 or no Mambo 6.
Just the 5.
Just the 5.
Those Mambos are in your heart.
The 1s through 4.
Yeah. They're the Mambos in your heart from walking down the street in Miami with a fedora on.
Mambo's
With a strudel.
Mambo's number 1 through 4 aren't songs; they're just a feeling you get when you're locked into that Mambo groove.
Yeah.
When you're teeth deep in a lemon
It's
strudel.
Mambo inspiration.
Well, speaking of Mambo grooves, this leads sort of into my criticisms about the song. The first thing is the melodies in this song are just, like a lot of pop songs, just annoyingly simple. Let's see, I'll play it here on the piano. That's the verse. It's literally just one note with an embellishment.
Sounds like a traffic jam
underneath.
He only used 3 fingers.
Oh, did he?
Here's the chorus. Again, very
Much better. See, I couldn't help but
I know.
I was snapping along. That's much better.
Well, yeah, because your snapping is perfectly in time and made me play it even better.
It was not bad considering internet lags. You need to back on up.
But again, I have a problem, and it's very popular in a lot of like pop, hip hop music now, where it's just a bunch of notes really quick followed by a slow note. And it just sounds like a fucking woodpecker to me. Ba 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 bum, ba 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 bum, bum ba bum ba bum.
No, it's because it's for dancing. We're going to get into this.
Okay. All right. We'll come back to that in a second. But my biggest problem is the fact that they chose to call this thing Mambo No.5 at all. Because as I mentioned earlier, he got into legal trouble. He didn't need to use any of the riffs. I mean, like, yeah, that post-chorus riff, the da-da-na-na-ba-da-ba-da-ba, like, that one's recognizable as part of the Lou Bega version. But they didn't need to take anything. They could have just made the same beat and accomplished the exact same thing.
Yeah, no one's got licensing over a mambo.
Yeah, and the fact that they only got busted because they asked for royalties beforehand just kills me. Like, he probably could have just ripped it straight up as they did, and if they hadn't have asked for permission beforehand, all the money would be his. And then I don't want to belabor this too much, but it's not a mambo. It is a 2-beat swing feel.
Oh. What's a mambo?
Well, a mambo is a very specific sort of Afro-Cuban style. I mean,
It's a subgenre of salsa.
Yeah.
I thought a mambo was a way of life, Josh.
Afro-Cuban music has a clave-type rhythm, and then the mambo specifically, the bass doesn't play on beat 1. If you listen to the original Prado version, that's what happens. The bass accent's on beat 4. So for people who don't know how to dance, it's a very off-kilter kind of feeling, and it makes sense. I mean, it's probably why Prado re-recorded it with a different, more popular kind of swing feel, 20-something years later. But certainly, like, if this song had actually been a mambo, it would not have been nearly as popular as it was.
I tried to learn a mambo step, and my white ass could not accomplish it.
It's weird. The first time I had to play one on bass, like, you really have to kind of recenter the way you think not only about the rhythm, but like the harmonic, the chord structure, because it's very strange. But yeah, Mambo No.5 is not a mambo.
What a fraud. I'm so pissed. Here I was thinking thinking it was a mambo all these years.
No, it's just a swing. Even like you listen to the eighth notes, they're eighth note swings. They're not straight eighths. It's just da 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 da. Right?
Must be why I'm can't stop snapping my fingers.
Yeah, I mean, my recollection of this song when it first came out was like, this is an even lamer, dumber version of Zoot Suit Riot by the Cherry Poppin' Daddies.
Man, my favorite band name of all time, Cherry Poppin' Daddies.
So after all that criticism of the song and Mr. Bega himself, Lindsay is actually here to mount a defense in favor of Mambo No.5. Lindsay, why don't you take it away?
Sure. So, Josh actually touched on a couple of the points that I'm going to make, and he spun them negatively. And I think that he should have maybe considered the positives of some of these points.
Well, you know me, I'm always considering the positive.
You are absolutely not. So this song can't stink if it was as popular as it was. And it topped the weekly charts in 30 countries, including 3 U.S. charts. It was on number 2 on another weekly U.S. chart, and it got up to number 3 on the U.S. Hot 100. And I think that is no easy task to do.
I would argue that the whole point of a mambo song is to stink, to be sweaty, smoking cigars, and eating.
Eating strudel,
cocktails.
Covered in cheese strudel.
Yeah, I mean, I almost said strudel again. I'm trying to stop saying strudel.
Well, so I made a joke earlier, and I'm going to share it with you right now. But what does Lou Bega eat when he goes to England? The crumpets. I have all of the content that you guys need.
Thank God we're almost at time.
Yeah, so it also was in the top 5 of 13 year-end charts internationally. And again, if it's such a terrible song, why is it so popular, gentlemen? It went multi-platinum in 8 countries and diamond in France, and it is still at number 11 in France's all-time most popular songs ever.
What does diamond
Diamond
mean
is
France?
more than platinum.
I don't...
Like over 1 million copies sold, I think.
I don't have the exact...
Does that mean they scoff 3 or 4 less times than they normally would?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not sure, but I think the different agencies of different countries have different thresholds.
Sure.
So like a gold record is maybe more or less in
Wikipedia
France.
had the numbers
It is
next
diamond.
to
I
it,
will not put out my cigarette.
but I didn't write down the numbers. Also, he was nominated for a Grammy alongside Ricky Martin. Okay, I know the Grammys nominate a lot of bad songs, but it provides clout. Again, this song has a lot of clout, and I think that is not to be trifled with.
Boy, I bet the backstage party at that Grammy was lit with Lou and Ricky in the same room.
That was the year that J-Lo wore the green dress. Yeah. Suck on that for a minute.
Speaking of the Grammys, a bit of little tidbit I have is that in 2001, the Latin Grammys, which were only, I think, 2 years old at that point, inducted Perez Prado's version of Mambo No.5 into their Hall of Fame, which to me is them saying like a big middle finger to Lou Bega. It's like, we know you're a fraud.
Well, he's
None
not
of this is Latin. Yeah, exactly. So,
I have 2/3 of a page left to get through, Kavanaugh. Okay, another thing that really pumps up this song for me is that it tells you a story. It's a fun story about a fun dude. He is showing, in that first verse, he is showing regret and remorse over actions he took last weekend that caused him to have a beer hangover. So he's going to get some gin and juice instead and try something new. So he's
going to get some gin and juice and harass some women.
He's learning from his mistakes. He is growing. And also it brings popularity to average names. Like, I've never met a Jessica who was astounding.
there's the song Jessica,
I don't know that song.
right? Is there a song Monica and Rita? Probably not.
Probably
There's
not.
Lovely Rita.
Like, the only Ritas I know are like my grandmother's age. So these are just like average names. These girls are probably not, 11s, but he is showing them love and appreciation. He is calling them up by name. I said appreciation. That's incorrect. These girls are not Jolene over here. They are not worthy of their own song, but they get together in a group song.
Girl power, right?
Also, yes, girl power. Also, if you watch the video, there are a lot of really nice butts in that video and vintage footage of nice butts in that video. So I think that it's a good song because there's good butts.
You think Bega's an ass man?
Well, yes, I will.
Yeah,
I will. In
definitely.
response to that, there is a lyric from one of his songs where he says, "I have to put on my glasses just to see how fine your ass is."
Incredible lyric. He is speaking the words of the people.
But if it were a tremendous rump, wouldn't he have an easier time without his glasses?
It's not about it.
I'm not sure I understand what his point
Not
is.
about the size necessarily. It's just about the quality.
I think that Lou Bega just discovered that asses and glasses rhyme and decided to put it in
But
the song.
also,
I would agree.
Also, this song, it brings joy to the people. Tell me, gentlemen, that you have never once busted a move to this song. I dare you.
I don't know if I've ever seen Hayden legitimately bust a move.
Okay, well, wrong
I'm not sure
room,
I know what
guess.
that means.
Okay. And then, but also tell me that we are laughing, we're smiling, we're having a joyful time. You tell me you haven't been smiling and laughing while singing this all week. Like, it brings joy.
I've been staring at Lou Bega this whole time, and I don't know what I feel anymore.
I'm not talking about him specifically. I feel like Josh focused a lot on like the ins and outs of Lou Bega, the man. And I thought I was here to talk about this song being an incredible asset to the American catalog, the international catalog of music.
The international Mambo catalog.
Yes, Mambo inspiration.
I mean, I listened to the song probably 25-something times this week, and I don't feel inspired or happy by it.
Do you turn it off? Like, not right now, but like in the past, before you did a deep dive, like if this song came on, would you say, "Oh my God, I hate this song," and turn it off?
I don't think I'd say, "Oh my God, I hate this song," but I would probably try to find something else to listen to.
There's no way I'm making it past the second verse. Once the chorus is hit once, I'm out.
I will say this. It's not a defense of the song, but one of his later singles is actually not a bad, like, pop anthem.
Yeah.
You take that back, Josh.
Because this isn't a bad popular song. I know there's a lot wrong with it and there's a lot wrong with him, but this song is what a popular song should be. It's popular. It's fun. It's enjoyable. It's also, I want to address Josh's point about a simple melody with the fast, 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 slow. That's for dancing specifically, because it's so people can catch up. so they can have a variation of the movement. He wrote this for a European audience, right? Eurovision. This is way better than a lot of Eurovision songs. Don't come for me, internet. But it's to make getting sweaty in the club in Miami, aka Hayden's point of Mambo.
Oh, my see me on Miami.
To make it easy for the people. It's accessible. And I really think that's the crux of the greatness of Mambo No.5 is that it is fun and it is accessible. And I don't think that there is anything wrong with that. I personally like a lot of songs that people don't like. I'm sure I'll be back on this podcast to defend other songs because they are fun and accessible and there is nothing wrong. And that's what I have to say.
Well, I agree with all your points, and I feel like this will be a theme that probably comes up as we do more episodes, but the argument of popularity and accessibility, whether or not it is makes something a good song, I think is well up for debate, and we'll have that debate on future episodes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't have your musical knowledge, so...
You don't have to have musical knowledge. It's just, I mean, my point about it being simple is that you can have simple melodies, but there's nothing memorable about it. To me, a good melody is one that is something that sticks with you in a way that isn't annoying. And Mambo No.5 doesn't do that for me.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm about to go listen to Busted Stuff by Dave Matthews.
1 out of 10.
All right, well, that's it on Mambo No.5, A Little Bit Of. I want to thank, as always, Hayden Crawford for joining us today. And for our special guest who bucked the trend of our pessimism to bring us a little optimism and tell us why she thought Mambo No.5 was great. Lindsay, thanks again for joining us.
The trumpet!
The trumpet!
Yes, the trumpet.
This Song Sucks is brought to you by The Alabama Take. Follow us on Instagram at This Song Sucks Pod and on Twitter at SucksPod. You can also find us on the Alabama Take Facebook page. Comments, hate mail, and song suggestions for future shows can be sent to thisSongSucksPod@gmail.com.